Hello everyone. Till now we have studied transportation system in humans and animals, and today we will study about transport of food and water in plants. How it happens? See, plants, they have specialized tissue, vascular tissue, which perform this task. Xylem, which transport water and minerals, and phloem, which transport manufactured food from leaves to various parts of the plants. And first of all, we will study transport of water in plants. So, plants, xylem perform this task, and xylem, it has specialized cells, xylem tracheids and xylem vessels, which perform this task. Xylem tracheids and vessels, they are specialized for this function, and xylem tissue forms a water conducting system throughout the plant body. So xylem vessels and tracheids of roots, stems and leaves, they are interconnected. xylem vessels और tracheids roots की, stems की और leaves की, ये आपस में interconnected होती हैं, and they form a continuous system of water conducting channel. And water and minerals, how they are absorbed? They are absorbed by roots actively, and it creates a difference in the concentration of these ions, because roots, they absorb water and minerals, so it creates a difference of concentration of ions between the root and the soil, which causes root pressure. So what is root pressure? Root pressure is a force exerted within the roots of a plant, which is generated due to the difference of concentration of ions between the root and soil. So to eliminate this difference, water moves into the roots from the soil, and there is a steady movement of, there is a continuous movement of water in the roots of the xylem, root xylem from the soil, and that creates a column of water. और इससे क्या होता है? वाटर पुश होता है अपवर्ड, बट रूट प्रेशर is not enough to move water over heights. In herbaceous plants, जो plants ज़्यादा हाइट के नहीं हैं, छोटे हैं, in those plants it is sufficient. But how water moves from the roots to the highest point, जो tall trees हैं उनमें कैसे पहुंचता है? So water moves upward in xylem over highest point of a plant by transpiration pull. Transpiration, what is transpiration? It is the loss of water in the form of vapors from aerial parts of the plant. वाटर वेपर्स के फॉर्म में जो वाटर लॉस होता है स्टोमेटा से और उसके एरियल पार्ट से, दैट इज द प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड ट्रांसपिरेशन. सो द प्रेशर exerted by transpiration on the walls of xylem is called transpiration pull, or it causes upward movement of water and minerals. Transpiration pull, it causes upward movement of water and minerals, and the water which is lost through stomata is replaced by the water from xylem vessels, क्योंकि stomata, they are losing water in the form of water vapors. So now this water is replaced by the water which is present in xylem vessels in the leaf. Evaporation of water molecules from leaf cells creates a suction. Means when water is evaporated through transpiration, so it creates a suction pull, and which pulls the water from the xylem cells of the root, and it makes a column, a continuous column of water, and like this water moves upward in tall plants. And transpiration pull, it is effective during daytime when stomata, they are open, and at night root pressure is more effective. So transpiration pull, it is generated by transpiration, and transpiration, it is a loss of water. So you must be thinking why transpiration is important. Transpiration, it helps in the absorption of water and minerals, and secondly, it helps in the upward movement of water and minerals, and third, it helps in the regulation of temperature. It regulates the temperature also, and it removes excess of water in the form of water vapor. So this is the importance of transpiration. Now we will learn about the process of transport of food in plants. See, plants, they prepare their food by the process photosynthesis, and their leaves prepare their food, and that food is transported to various parts with the help of a tissue, vascular tissue, phloem. So the transport of soluble products of photosynthesis. What are the soluble products which are formed during photosynthesis? Glucose or sugar. So the transport of food from leaves to other parts of the plant is termed as translocation, and it occurs in the part of vascular tissue known as phloem. And phloem also transports amino acids, hormones, organic acids, and other substances where they are required. And translocation of substances takes place in the sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells. And translocation of substances, these substances can occur in both upward and downward direction, while water can transport it in one direction from roots to other parts where they are required in upward direction. And the translocation in phloem means when food is transported, it consumes energy in the form of ATP. And children, food which is formed during photosynthesis, it is glucose, and that glucose is converted into sucrose. And what is sucrose? A disaccharide. What is disaccharide? See, glucose, it is monosaccharide. So when two monosaccharides sugar they combine, means the two units of monosaccharides they combine, like glucose and fructose, so they form sucrose. So food is transported in the form of sucrose. Why sucrose? Because sucrose, it has two monosaccharides, and sucrose contain more energy than glucose, so it is more energy efficient in transport. That is why food is transported in the form of sucrose. So sucrose, it is loaded from leaves to the phloem using energy of ATP, and such transfer, it increases the osmotic pressure. See, osmosis, we have studied that osmosis is a process in which water molecules, they move from a region of a higher concentration to the region of a lower concentration. And osmotic pressure is the force which is caused by a solution passing through a semi-permeable surface by osmosis. Means जो liquid है, when it passes through semi-permeable surface, it causes a force that is called osmotic pressure. So the transfer of sucrose from leaves to phloem, it increases the osmotic pressure, causing the movement of water from the nearby cells into the phloem tissue, and the materials get transported through phloem. और इसी तरीके से जो phloem है वो materials को transport करता है, क्योंकि xylem से water जो है वो phloem cells में आ जाता है, and the food is transported in soluble form, in liquid form. And the same pressure is also responsible for the transfer of substances from phloem to the tissues where food is required. Means it depends upon the plant's need. For example, see, during spring season when the new buds arises, and these buds need more energy than the other parts of the plant, and they get energy from the sugar which is stored in roots or stem tissue, and this energy is transported by phloem, which consumes energy. Normally food is transported from leaves to various parts, but during spring it is transported from the roots and stems, where means from stored sugar. And this translocation also consumes energy, and it occurs through phloem. So this is the way how translocation of food occurs in plants. Now let's study about the excretory system. So first of all, we have to understand what is excretion. Excretion is the removal of harmful and unwanted metabolic waste and salts from the body. This is excretion. And this process of excretion, it is different in unicellular and in multicellular organisms. See, unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium, they do not have any special excretory organ for excretion. And waste product which is generated during metabolism like ammonia and carbon dioxide, so these substances are diffused out of their body by simple diffusion. Means these substances, these are eliminated by their general body surface. But in multicellular organisms, this process is different, because we have special organ system to perform excretion. So let's study the process of excretion in human beings and the structure of human excretory system. See, the main function of human excretory system is to remove nitrogenous waste such as urea from the body. And human excretory system, it includes a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. And the main excretory organ in our body These are kidneys. And kidneys are located in the abdomen on the either side of our backbone. And blood enters kidneys for filtration by a pair of renal arteries, and a pair of renal veins collects the filtered blood from the kidney. And when kidneys filter blood, they urine is formed, means which has nitrogenous waste. So the purpose of making urine is to filter out the waste products from the blood, and these waste products are removed from the blood by kidneys and are passed down to the urinary bladder by a pair of ureter, and the urethra further releases the urine out of the body. Means urine which is collected in the urinary bladder, it is released periodically to the exterior through urethra. So this is the structure of human excretory system. And so let's study the structure of kidney. The main organ of human excretory system, it is kidney. It is located at the back of abdominal cavity on the either side of backbone, and it is of reddish brown color and bean shaped structure it has. And the left kidney is placed a little higher than the right kidney. Why it is so? To adjust the abdominal cavity, because this is due to the position of liver, and the main function of kidney is to remove the excess of water from the body and nitrogenous waste like urea and uric acid from the blood in the form of urine, and it regulates the pH of blood. So each kidney, it is made up of thousands of tiny filtration units, and these units are called nephron. It is the structural and functional unit of kidney. Like in lungs, what is the structural and functional unit? Alveoli. So in kidney has thousands of nephron, and these are the structural and functional unit of kidney. So it has a double walled hollow cup known as Bowman's capsule, and its cavity, this cup shaped structure, its cavity is filled with a tuft of blood capillaries, and that is called glomerulus. What we call it? Glomerulus. And this cup shaped structure is followed by a long tubular structure, and this long tubular structure, it has three parts. First part is proximal convoluted tubule, or we call it PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, and the second part U-shaped Henle's loop, and third part distilled convoluted tubule. What is the third part? Distilled convoluted tubule, and it finally leads to the collecting duct that collects the filtered urine. So how urine is formed in our body? See, Bowman's capsule of nephron, it acts as ultrafilter, means it filters useful as well as harmful substances like urea, uric acid, glucose, amino acids, some vitamins, etc. So this is called ultrafiltration because it filters useful and harmful, both type of substances. So now blood passes through tubular part of the nephron, and glucose, amino acids and salts and major amount of water, it is reabsorbed here through tubular part. And now the urine which is formed in each kidney, it enters a long tube called the ureter, which connects the kidney with the urinary bladder. Now urine, it is stored in the urinary bladder until the pressure of the expanded bladder causes the urge to pass it out through the urethra. See, the amount of water that is reabsorbed in the how much amount of water it is reabsorbed by the tubular part. So it depends on the excess of water which is present in the body and the amount of dissolved waste to be excreted. And the bladder, it is muscular, so it is under the control of nervous system. Hence, we can usually control the urge to urinate. So this is the structure and function of kidney and nephron. Now next topic, hemodialysis or artificial kidney. The blood of a patient whose kidneys are completely damaged is filtered through a dialysis machine or dialyzer, and it removes the urea and excess of salts from the blood. It is also called artificial kidney or kidney machine. The process of Purifying blood by artificial kidney, it is called hemodialysis. Means the process in which a person's blood it is purified by an artificial kidney, it is called hemodialysis. So artificial kidney, what is it? Let's study. Artificial kidney, it contains a number of tubes with semi-permeable membrane which are suspended in a tank filled with dialyzing fluid, and this fluid has the same osmotic pressure as blood, but it does not have nitrogenous waste, but in blood nitrogenous waste is present. When the patient's blood it is passed through these tubes, waste products from the blood pass into dialyzing fluid by diffusion. The purified blood is pumped back into the patient, and this is similar to kidney, but it does not involve reabsorption. And in a healthy person, the initial filtrate in the kidney is about 180 liter daily, means per day 180 liter filtrate. Kidney filters 180 liter blood, but the urine which is formed, it is 1 to 2 liter per day, and the remaining filtrate it is reabsorbed in the kidney tubules. So this artificial kidney is for those whose kidneys are damaged or are not working properly. Now let's study about the excretion in plants. Plants use completely different strategies for excretion than those of animals, because plants they do not have specific excretory organ like animals. So plants they release gaseous waste such as carbon dioxide formed during respiration at night and oxygen during photosynthesis through stomata, and they get rid of excess of water by transpiration. And in plants, tannin, resins, gums, and other similar waste are deposited in old non-functional xylem. And certain waste is accumulated in older leaves and barks which are soon shed off. And most of the products are stored in cellular vacuoles. And plants, they also excrete some waste substances into the soil around them. And in plants, there are some useful substances also which humans use, like natural rubber. It is used as a raw material in tire industry. It we get from the latex of the plant.